Professor G. Manlopo.
This is all about mixed cost, no? Mixed cost. All right. What do you mean of mixed cost? No? Diba? Meaning combination of your variable, no? At the same time your fixed cost, no? That's why mixed cost is also known as semi-variable, no? Semi-variable cost. Take note, no? Semi-variable cost. All right. Meaning it changed in total but not proportionately with the changes in your activity level. All right. There are two methods, no? So very important pala in terms of the mixed cost to identify or to separate the variable and the fixed cost. Diba? There are two methods for this. You have your high-low method, diba? You have your high-low method. Ito yung pinakamadali, no? All right. And you have your regression, diba? You have your regression. So later, I will discuss one by one, no? Regression analysis and your high-low method. All right. So very important first is the high-low method. How do we compute for the high-low method? Diba? So high-low method is the aggregate or mathematical method, no, that uses cost incurred at the high and at the low level of activity. All right, that's why here, first step is to get first for the variable cost per unit. All right, take note of this. When you compute for the variable cost per unit, no, is, take note dito nakakamali, no? First is to get first the high activity. All right. Ito ang unang gagawin nyo. Wag the cost. After that, kung nakuha mo na yung activity mo, get the high cost. Alright. Minus, no? Your, number 3 step is to get for your low activity. Alright. After that, you look for high cost. Sorry, correct me. It should be low cost. I will read it. Be your low. Number 3 is to get the low activity. After that, low activity, get now the low cost. Sir, saan ba nakakamali? Inuuna muna nila yung high cost minus the low cost. Then high activity and low activity. Wrong. It should be high activity followed by the high cost, low activity followed by the low cost. Yan. And after that, compute now for the fixed cost. So basically, napakadali lang naman, di ba? Total cost minus the variable cost per unit, di ba? We multiply it by, depende low, high muna, pwedeng high activity. Alright. Yan. Or total cost is minus variable cost, okay, is equal, multiply by low activity. Alright. Ano yung basic rule dito? Dapat yan ay parehas ang fixed cost mo. Pag hindi, there's something wrong in your computation. There's something wrong in terms of your variable cost per unit siguro or your fixed cost per unit. Yan. Alright. That's your high method and low, high-low method and regression analysis. Next, how about, sir, about number 2, no? About regression analysis, no? How to compute for regression analysis? Again, compute first for the variable cost per unit. How do we compute for the variable cost per unit? Take note. Summation of EXY. X is the activity. Y is your cost. No? Minus N. N is basically the number of the variables. You multiply it by X, average. Alright? And you also multiply it by the Y, average. X is the cost. Sorry, X is the activity. Y is the cost. You divide it by your summation of EX squared. Okay? You minus here N, and you multiply it by EX squared, pero it should be to multiply, no, by itself. Okay? Yan. And after that, no, also we will compute also for your fixed cost. No, fixed cost, sorry, should be total fixed cost. How do we compute for your fixed cost? All right. Fixed cost is basically can be computed as Y. Okay? Now, Y should be the average. Okay? Di ba, Y is the cost, correct? Because Y is your total cost minus your variable cost per unit. Saan to galing? Di ba nandito yon as the variable cost per unit? We multiply it by your X average, which is basically your activity, no? Activity average. All right. In order for you to compute for this HighLow method and the regression method, no? For example, no? Let's say you have here January. No? Let's say this is your activity. January, February. Okay? You have here March. No? And you have here April. Yan. All right. For example, miles driven, meaning this is your activity X, and Y is basically your cost. Okay? X is basically, let's say, miles driven is 20,000. All right. Let's say this is 40,000. Okay? This is 35. And this is, let's say, 50,000. All right. And you have your cost, Philippine peso. Let's say this is 30,000. Okay? This is 48,000. 49. And you have here 63. Yan. All right. HighLow method muna. Number 1 is to get first for the variable cost per unit. How do we compute that? All right. Again, ano yung first step? Not the cost, but the activity first. Get first the activity. Pinakamataas, di ba? 50,000. All right. No? After that, magkano yung activity, magkano yung cost ng highest activity? Di ba? 63,000. We put here 63,000. Minus, minus. Next, get the lowest cost, to say 30,000. Yan. Sorry, lowest, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, no? Sorry. It should be 20,000, okay? Because activity of 20,000. All right, next. How much is the cost of the 20,000 activity? You have 30,000. Take note of this. Nagkataon lang dito na ang highest activity mo is also the highest cost. Lowest activity is also lowest cost. Paano sa board exam? First step is the X followed by Y. Alright. Alright. So magkano to? I think this is the variable cost per unit here. Just compute, no? I think 1.10 is the variable cost per unit. That's basically your variable cost per unit. How about your fixed cost? Okay? To compute for your fixed cost. Diba? Alam natin na total cost minus variable cost per unit, you multiply it by the activity. Okay? So, take note. First cost, in terms of your highest, you have 63,000. Alright. You have also here variable cost. Alright. Variable cost of 1.10, you multiply it by 50,000. Ilan yan? I think this is 55,000. Alright? So, how much now would be your fixed cost? Okay? Fixed cost here is at 8,000. Okay? So, pwedeng gawin siya in terms of your high or pwede naman in terms of your low. Yan. How about low? So, meaning you have 30,000 here. Diba? Then, 20,000. So, 20,000. Wala lang ha. 20K times 1.10. I believe this is 22,000. Same ba, sir? The answer is same. Okay. So, in the board exam, ang tanong, how much would be the variable cost per unit? The answer is 1.10. How much is the fixed cost? The answer here is at 8,000. Alright, sir, bakit variable cost per unit? Bakit fixed cost? Because variable cost per unit and the fixed cost will remain the same regardless of the changes in your activity. Alright, next is all about regression analysis number 2. How do we compute that? Variable cost is summation of EXY minus N, then average of X and Y divided by summation of AX squared minus N multiplied by X average and then by 2. No? Then fixed cost Y minus variable cost per unit, no? You multiply it by X average. Alright, how do you compute that? Now, first thing is to get first the total, no? We add first, no? We add first here. Okay? So how much now would be your X? 20, 40, 35, 50. I believe that's 145. Tama ba? Yes, 145. So this is summation of EX. Alright, next. How about your Y? If you add all of this, 30, 48, 49, and 63, I believe this is 190,000. Alright. That would be your summation of EY. Yan. Alright. Next. After that is, we compute for EXY. Paano yun, sir? Just multiply 20, 30, 40, 48, 35, 49, 50, and 63. How much would be your EXY? So, okay na lang ha, sa bahay. Compute nyo. I believe that's gonna be 7.385. 73.85 billion. Alright. If you add, 7.385 billion. Alright, correct. Alright. After that is X squared naman. Alright, next is all about EX squared, no? Meaning you multiply by itself. So if you add that, that would be 5,725 million. Yan. That's gonna be your X squared. Di ba napakahaba? Sir, sana sa board exam, hindi na lang lumabas ang regression analysis. Yan. Kaya lang, yan. If you add this, summation of EXY, summation of your EX squared. Alright. What else? How about, sir, the average? No? Kailangan natin i-compute yung average. Alright. Meaning, we will average the X muna. So, ito yun, X average. Meaning, 145,000. Okay? You divide it by 4. By 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Y also is equal to 190. You divide it by 4. So, how much is that? I believe this is 36,250. Okay? And this is 47,500. Yan. Later, ha? Yan. So, kailangan natin to like later with this formula. Alright. How do we compute that? No? Alright, how do we compute for the variable cost per unit? Again, variable cost per unit, no, can be computed as summation of VXY. Di ba ito yun? 7 point. Alright. I will put na lang 7,385 billion. Alright. Minus N. N is 1, 2, 3, 4. Diba? We multiply it by 4. What else? Average of X. Diba? Average of X is 36,250. What else? Average of Y, which is 47,500. Okay? Nagets ba? Napakadali lang. As long as you should know this formula. You divide it by your summation of EX squared. Di ba ito yun? 5725. So you have here 5725. Alright? Minus N. Of course, 4 pa din to. Alright. Then, EX squared. Meaning, summation. So, gagawin natin ito muna. 36,250. Diba? 36,250. Kaya lang, twice. So, meaning, you multiply by itself. Alright. If you compute for this, for that, no? How much now would be your variable cost per unit? Kaya, compute nyo nga. Very good. The answer here is, the variable cost per unit here is basically 1.06. Tama ba kayo? Alright, take note. In the HighLow method, the answer is 1.10. In the regression analysis now, the answer here is 1.06 now in the analysis now. All right. How about the fixed cost in terms of your regression? All right. Total fixed cost. How do we compute that? Per unit to ha? Sorry. Fixed cost total, no? Summation, y, which is basically your average, which is 47,500. Diba? Ito yung formula ha? Minus 1.06. Ito na yun. Okay? We multiply it by, diba? Ano to? This is 36,250. Sige nga, compute nyo nga. How much is your fixed cost? I believe your fixed cost here is at 9,075. Alright. This is 8,9075. So meaning, medyo magkalapit lang naman if you will use HighLow method and if you will use regression analysis. Take note of this kasi ito ay lumalabas sa CPA board exam. Lalo na ang regression analysis. Napakadali lang naman, no? Just step number 1, get first the x summation, y summation, then you multiply it by xy, then you sum up summation of xy, then also x squared multiplied by itself, then summation, you have 5.7, summation of ax squared. Okay? After that, you average naman. Okay? 145 divide 4 and 190 divide 4. Okay? Then, go with the formula and go with the formula. Alright. So, hopefully, you learned from this topic, cost behavior of the HighLow method and regression analysis. Thank you very much.